This is The Space Shot, episode 219 for December 19th, 2017. Mercury Redstone 1A. Hey everyone, welcome to The Space Shot, your daily space history, pop culture, and news fix. I'm John Molnix. On December 19th, 1960, at Cape Canaveral Air Force Station Launch Complex 5, a Mercury Redstone lifted off the launch pad for the first time on a test flight for systems and performance of the Mercury capsule and Redstone rocket. This was the same Mercury capsule that sat atop the Redstone rocket that was involved in the 4-inch flight that we talked about back in episode 191. Qualifying the booster and Mercury spacecraft was crucial in working up towards human flights. Mercury Redstone, or MR-1A, had a flight time of 15 minutes and 45 seconds, reached a top speed of 4,971 miles per hour, and had a downrange distance of 233 miles. The Redstone rocket wasn't capable of sending the Mercury capsule into orbit due to the lower power of this vehicle. Instead, it would send the spacecraft on a suborbital ballistic trajectory that still sent the spacecraft into space, just not at a fast enough velocity to reach orbit. In 2016, I had some time off and was able to visit Cape Canaveral Air Force Station, and I got to see Launch Complex 5 up close. You can see this launch complex as part of the fantastic Cape Canaveral Then and Now tour, which I highly recommend if you're ever out in Florida. You get to see the blockhouse and the launch pad at Launch Complex 5. This launch complex was used for multiple different flights, everything from the flight we're talking about today to the 4-inch flight, and later Alan Shepard's historic flight in 1961. The final launch to take place from LC-5 was Gus Grissom and his Mercury Redstone 4, which carried the Liberty Bell 7 into space. I hadn't thought about this until just now, but when I visited Launch Complex 5, I saw the spot that Liberty Bell 7 launched from, and I've also been lucky enough to see that capsule in person at the Cosmosphere in Hutchinson, Kansas. Pretty interesting that I saw the spot that capsule left Earth, and I saw one of the places it's been since its restoration. I've got one launch update before I go today. Over the weekend, SpaceX announced that the static test fire of the Falcon 9 for the upcoming Iridium 4 launch has been completed. SpaceX is targeting a December 22nd launch date from Vandenberg Air Force Base, and as that day approaches, I'll share the link to the live stream on Facebook, so be on the lookout for that. Also, as of December 17th, the CRS-13 capsule is now installed at the International Space Station. This is the second time that SpaceX has sent a reused Dragon capsule to the ISS. This Dragon carried a mix of unpressurized science experiments that will be mounted outside the station, and also pressurized experiments and supplies inside the capsule that will be unloaded over the coming days and weeks. I have one other piece of space history that I'll be talking about more on Christmas Day. On December 19th, 1999, the Space Shuttle Discovery lifted off on the STS-103 Hubble Space Telescope servicing mission. This was the first time that the shuttle spent Christmas in space, and I'll be talking more about this mission on Christmas Day. I hope you've all enjoyed today's podcast. I appreciate all of you that have left a review. It really means a lot to me, and it does help more people find the show. If you leave a review in iTunes or your podcast app of choice, screenshot that review and send it to me at John Molnix pretty much everywhere on the internet, and I'll shoot you a Space Shot sticker and a little thank you. Also, make sure you hit the subscribe button, that way you don't miss any of the daily episodes. As always, the show notes have more information on today's episode. You can hit me up on Instagram and Twitter. Find me at John Molnix. I'm always up to chat. You can also connect with me on Facebook. Just search The Space Shot or click the link in the show notes. Tomorrow, I've got a couple book reviews. I'm John Molnix, and I'll catch you on the flip side.